So, welcome to Hobbiton. Just a few housekeeping things before we head on into Middle Earth here. So, first things first, I told you all on the bus that our landscapers are around the perimeter of the property here. That is not to fence you in. It is to keep the sheep out, as they can be rather crafty. The closest we get to it is towards the end of tour, so I just want you to be aware that it's there, so that nobody's in for a shock today. Lastly, I just want to make sure that we all stick together as a group. I want to finish with the same number of people I'm starting with here, and I'm also kind of your timekeeper as we make our way through. So if I move on to the next location, I of course want you to have enough time to enjoy that next location. So again, as long as we kind of all stay together, we'll be just fine. Otherwise, do we have any questions for me before we head in? And to my friends just walking in the back, just want to be sure you're aware. I just don't want you to go past that blue door over there. So all we have is Silmarillion and Rings of Power trying to work off of that. They don't have the rights to the book, so they're working off the appendices. Hobbits, so quite a little community here. Most of the set that you will see here today is from the build for the Hobbit trilogy. That's because after they were done with the Lord of the Rings, pretty much like any other movie set, they tore all of that down, and we were left only with about 17 Hobbit hole facades, which was really just some plywood with a hole in it and a few stone steps. You know that later on in the tour. And with that, friends, we'll start making our way this way towards the dell. And that's the dell, not Adele. Unfortunately, she's not here today. Details outside of the Hobbit holes often tells you what those hobbits do for a living, specifically the mailboxes.
메일박스. 메일박스 먹으려고 있어. 물고기, 아빠 물고기. 물고기. 낚시해야 되거든. 구름 물고기.
I made like a biltong for prep, yeah.
How come you didn't make cake yourself?
We have made it, yeah.
I don't remember you ever having one before.
You guys live for safety as well?
There was a say hat on.
He tends to bring like a bag on the
Smaller trees, so that it looks sized for the hobbits. And so they're not native to this area. They brought in Gala apple trees originally. And what we're looking at now is mostly apple and pear trees. And you'll see another tiny little orchard on the other side whenever we're making our way around. But yeah, that's the idea of the small little trees here. They're hobbit sized. They drained all of that out to fill in this frog pond here. What do we think lives in a frog pond? Frogs for Ace in the quiz. So frogs live in a frog pond. It was a little bit of an issue whenever it came to filming because frogs like to make a lot of noise. So they had to have somebody come out and actually corral all of the frogs and remove them from the pond. They also had to have a trained eagle fly around so that all of the birds you're hearing would stay quiet. There's a lot of bird song here in New Zealand. Makes it very hard to film outside. So whenever I tell you guys that 5 minutes of what was filmed in the Hobbit trilogy shows up, that's because pretty much any time they had the opportunity to do so, they filmed in studio. Of course, they weren't going to want to deal with the frogs, the birds, the sun moving in and out of the clouds, the rain, having to get all of the people out here. To bring all of the people, the cast and crew, and all of the food to feed those people, the chefs, the water, the power, all of the camera equipment, lighting equipment, all that stuff. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of money. And again, they save a lot when they do it in the studio. So I'll tell you guys more about that as we make our way around. But once again, I'm going to let you guys take photos in this area. And we'll start making our way down this pathway here.
여기 가 있지 말랬어.
나 진짜. 그러면.
얘들아, 일로 와봐. 이거 봐. 돌아서 이렇게 돌아와봐.
You'll notice a lot of it looks unkempt and kind of whimsical here. That's on purpose. It's called rumbling greens, and the idea is that hobbits have no time to be gardening. They have first breakfast, second breakfast, 11sies, smoking pipe tobacco, no time to be outside doing any kind of mowing, so they keep it kind of long, so it looks kind of storybookish. Another fun thing, 2 weeks prior to filming The Hobbit, every morning and evening, they would have somebody come out and hang up and take down all of the washing that you will see here, so that there were natural footpaths formed throughout Hobbiton, and it actually looked lived in. I told some of you guys that we have...
저 물 마셔볼래? 눌러서 물 마셔봐. 저 사람처럼.
나도 좀 물 마셔도 돼?
기다렸다가. 해볼 수 있겠어? 저쪽 가서. 아, 재현이가 눌러줘. 누나 마실 때.
올라오게 하는 거야.
Ouais, mais non, parce qu'il faut le tenir.
All of your Hobbit dreams come true here at this Hobbit Hole. Are you a big fan? Alright, be here. But with the New Zealand Army, of course, showing up and everybody. stuff all was happening really quickly. And whenever the first movie came out, certainly everybody knew what was going on. For the first 18 months, they had to have a security guard out front 24/7. That was a lot of work. So negotiations opened. All right, friends, so Bag End, the most famous Hobbit hole there is. Bag End is where Bilbo and Frodo Baggins live, of course, Bilbo being Frodo's uncle, and Bilbo's lived here for quite a long time, ever since he was 1 year old. His father, Bungo Baggins, built it for his wife, Belladonna Took, as a wedding gift, and they've lived here ever since. And at both the beginning of the Lord of the Rings and the Hobbit trilogy, Bilbo is celebrating his 111th birthday. So very exciting stuff. That's why you see that sign on the gate there that says no admittance except on party business. Bilbo wrote that sign, Frodo hung that up, and this gate here came in 2 separate sizes. They had a smaller one for whenever they were filming Gandalf this way, and a larger one for whenever they were filming Bilbo this way. If you guys have seen The Hobbit or read it, you may recall they argue about the meaning of the line here, and then after they're done, Bilbo makes his way up these stone steps, the only original thing from the Lord of the Rings set here, and he says, no adventures, not for me, not today, try over the hill, and he makes his way into that Hobbit hole. So you will see a little bit of an interior, as if we do have an interior to Bag End here. That is just enough so that Bilbo doesn't look like he lives in a home full of plywood. Nevertheless, we do not have an interior to Bag End here, just enough room for Bilbo to make his way in, and a camera and a few cameramen to fit in there.
집인 것 같다.
맞짱. 사람 문, 그치? 옛날에 저는 여기서 찍었는데.
엄마 비 오면 다 물이 이쪽으로 가는 거야.
너네들 가서 귀엽게 앉아봐.
집마다 이런 게 있나 봐.
이거가 얘네가 주된 하는 일이래. 얘는 벌 돌보나 봐. 들어가봐. 나은이도. 재현이 옆에 가봐.
하나, 둘, 셋. 그래. 잠깐만 얘는 발을 갖고 와.
Yeah.
And eggs.
You find it easy to what's over breakfast? Egg and cheese.
아, 귀여워.
내가 봐서 모르겠어. 진짜 레이다.
Got a lad that'll cut some native timber down for you and ship it out. You run that pump through there. Say no more. 20 bucks and a packet of cigarettes. Still would you? What's this? Can we go over that?
눈사슴 있잖아. 맞지?
Yeah, it's proper fake like, isn't it?
아 근데 노란
It's on the gates and shit. Look.
여기가 놀았는데.
I don't know.
여기 아니야?
Crap by the buying apple cookies and just save like the winter. Bless you. Left that.
빨간색 있는 곳인데
집에서는 고추 이런 색깔로 이가
봐봐.
But for the most part, if you really want to know the behind the scenes stuff, one of the Hobbit goals has some
그치? 사실 우린 이제 이쪽 가고 있을까? 그래서 우린 이제 이런 걸
나는 거기 앞에서
아빠 저쪽에 술 같은 데 파는 거지. 아빠 요트 어딨어? GT? 내 제티, 내 제티 보고 싶어. 아빠 옛날에 우리 저쪽에 사진 찍었지? 그 말 타는 거 같은 거. 아빠 이쪽에도 물고기 없어? 아빠 저쪽 봐.
friends, this here is the Green Dragon. The original version of the Green Dragon was burnt down on purpose for the Lord of the Rings. When Frodo looks into Galadriel's mirror and the Shire is on fire, they burnt it down. They had firemen here that were dressed up as orcs, so it was mutually beneficial. They got to be in a movie. We had the responders as nearby as possible. They rebuilt it, of course, for the Hobbit, and you mostly just see it in drone shots or wide shots, but you do see it a little bit up close in the extended edition.
해야 되지 않고 다르지.
Silver ginger beer. Thank you.
Thank you.
What flight is it to Sydney? Oh, there you go, man. America. Oh, 10. All good. You can get to stay even and sleep on that. Or even to stay awake on that. Stay awake all night. I want to stay awake for that one. Difficult on the last one then. Last two.
Can't book the seats till the 12:49.
Really?
You've got the Virgin one, you can't book the tag on the website.
내가 빠지는 엄마가 나를 나는 나오니까 한 10kg가 빠졌어. 아예 나는 10kg 어떻게 해야
People that were able to book in December. It was to celebrate the Hobbit, An Unexpected Journey, turning 10 years old. So it was just, again, for those 3 people, it was like a lottery system. And those 3 people will stay in March, so they'll have those nights in March. Otherwise, we are not opening up a hotel experience. Equally confusing, we are opening up an interior Hobbit hole experience. So that's where everybody has kind of crossed wires here and gotten confused. So the interior Hobbit hole experience will be the 2 holes just to the left of Sam's. Awesome, friends. It was great taking you all through Hobbiton. Just as a fun little bit of information.